Well, hello and welcome to another Sunday on the upper deck. And it's not a rubber game, but I'm suddenly missing rubber game Sundays. I'm Lynn. Right next to me is Sierra. I'm not even going to ask Sierra how she is because I think I know how she is, and it's the same way I'm feeling right now. And probably everybody rolling into the chat right now. We see you, chat. We're going to get to you in a quick second for some roll call. But Spencer has the week off, so we're going to get right down to business, everybody. Let's look in the mirror. Are there better things to reminisce about? Not really. Except I shouldn't say that because I'm just so Boston focused right now. Let's go way back to earlier this dreadful week of doom and gloom to the Cardinals and the Rays and the glorious outcomes of those games.
Listen, the Yankees started this week on such a high. They were coming off a sweep of the Cardinals, off on Monday, swept the 2-game series versus the Rays, which was fun to watch. You know, Jose Caballero, he got to have a little bit of revenge in that series. Love to see that. And then they went on to play Boston, and everything just kind of fell apart. But realistic Yankees fans going into this series kind of all said the same thing, right? Going into this, they were 1-6, I think, versus the Red Sox this season already, or 1-5. And everyone said the same thing. You have to beat Boston to prove that you're a good team. They can't, for whatever reason, they cannot do it. They are so bad against the AL East, but specifically Boston. And it's like they've been our rival for so long, but we're not even putting up a fight to make it like a fun rivalry at this point. Like it's hard to watch. Thursday, 8 walks were given up to Boston. So you're putting a whole army of men on base for free. 4 errors were committed Thursday night alone, 3 in the second inning. Like, I don't know if Jazz was trying to give a fan like a free souvenir. I don't know what that was all about. And then we go into, but at least the offense showed up somewhat. 3 runs, right? You go into Saturday. I'm sorry, Friday, not Saturday. I'm skipping a day because I'm so frustrated. You go into Friday. The offense doesn't show up at all. There is no offense. Max Fried finally has a good start after 8 consecutive bad starts. Let that sink in. 8 consecutive bad starts for Max Fried. He finally shows up and gives you more than 6 innings. Doesn't give up anything. The Yankees lose 1-0.
And I think you're exaggerating by saying no one showed up, Sierra, because the Squirrel did show up.
The Squirrel.
Let's not forget. And maybe it was the Squirrel that made all the difference for Fried that night. Because, like you see behind me or next to me,
he's like a Disney princess.
Yeah. So they were having quite the chat there. And so maybe that was the mound visit that Fried needed. So all hail the Squirrel. The only bright light in this series. Go ahead.
That Squirrel who should just be the New York Yankees mascot moving forward, because
absolutely
best thing that happened all weekend. Because then yesterday, the Yankees got their asses absolutely kicked. And you know what? I'm putting most of that on Paul Blackburn because he gave up a majority of the runs. But 12-1 is just unacceptable. The only run that came from the New York Yankees yesterday was off of Giancarlo Stanton's bat. That is it. Nobody else showed up. So at this point, you cannot tell me that there is not a disconnect in the locker room between the players and Aaron Boone. If you look at the free fall that they're in right now, look at what like Ben Rice is saying and Aaron Judge, who never speaks out, is saying. And then it's completely opposite of what their idiot of a leader is saying.
Yep.
So something has got to give. The Yankees, I'm just talking to talk at this point because I have no say in anything. But the Yankees should fire Aaron Boone today to make a statement.
Yeah, I mean, let that be their version of benching him, because Boone doesn't even bench anybody when he's supposed to. But he needs more than a timeout. He needs a Bronx goodbye, and it's really long overdue at this point. And let's also talk about the fact that on Friday it was another crap show for defense. The baseball IQ of this team is in the toilet. The summer school won't help. Tutoring won't help. Einstein wouldn't help at this point. They are just in the toilet on the field. So, it's just maddening to me that Volpe and Dominguez, my God, throwing the wrong bases. Wells doubled off a base. There was all of this madness going on. What they're not even thinking, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, because I have more to say about this when we get into other topics here.
What's crazy though about all of this is it is a New York Yankee fundamental issue, because if you look at other players who struggled with the Yankees last year, Gleyber Torres, they're not struggling this year with their new teams. They're not making 50 billion errors.
Nope.
Volpe, he doesn't lead the league anymore because Ellie De La Cruz just one-upped him. But he is second in all of MLB, first in the AL for errors with 17. That is unacceptable.
As Popeye would say, it's downright embarrassing. It is. I'm saying that in particular for my sister in the chat. Shout out to Popeye. So last night, let's just the shittiest of shows, right? 8th straight loss to the Red Sox this season. Unacceptable. And we thought the rivalry was back. No, that this is not a rivalry. This is like indentured servitude at this point. They rule the kingdom, and we'll just be lucky to get a cube of bread from them at some point. And Will Warren, I'm sorry. I know that he's had good outings, but this was not the time to say, oh, where does this pitch go? Where am I aiming?
He's so inconsistent. He's consistently inconsistent, and that's my issue with Will Warren. Like, yes, he gave the Yankees 2 back-to-back good starts where he gave you over 6 innings when none of the other starters were doing that. But other than that, he's completely inconsistent. You do not know what you're getting out of him. I feel like I'm watching Forrest Gump and his box of chocolates when Will Warren is on the mound, and this has been one of the most frustrating seasons for me as a Yankees fan, because we go on this high, and then we hit these lows that are just horrible. And look, I'm happy for all the super positive Yankee fans this season, but I'm so sick of hearing about the run differential. I don't care how many more runs we've scored than everybody else in the league. I really don't, because the Yankees have been in a free fall since June 1st, and it hasn't stopped.
Right. And just while we're wrapping up where we've already been with the Red Sox, let me just throw this up here for a minute. When I talk about no defense IQ, this is the prime example. This is the number one example from this series of that ball that he missed. Now, granted, it was not the easiest of plays to make, but perhaps keep your eyes open. Give that a shot. Because right now you're looking like the Mensa guy of low baseball IQ. And I've seen this in multiple places. I wish I could credit the person that I lived at this from, but come on. This is like the poster child image of where this team is right now on the field.
You know what's incredibly frustrating about the Yankees catching situation is they produce good catchers for other teams, but they can't do it for themselves. Carlos Narvaez went 3 for 4 yesterday against the Yankees. Ramirez is tearing it up in Miami. And maybe their defense isn't always the greatest, but offensively, they're very consistent. And actually, I take that back. Narvaez has been very good defensive this season. But like the Yankees produce good catchers for other teams. Jose Trevino and Higashioka are doing good with their new respective teams. Why did we hold on to Austin Wells? I will never understand what the Yankees see in Austin Wells. And honestly, he could probably leave today and go play for another team and be much better, because at this point, it's got to be a Yankee issue. I don't want to see him behind the plate next season. I really don't. There is a new name out there for the winter, and his name is Adley Rutschman. And I would love for the Yankees to go after him and say sayonara to Austin Wells, because I'm over the Austin Wells experiment at this point.
You should never have said his name out loud, Sierra. Now we won't get him. That's just the way it goes. I think I'll edit this recording. So let me just take a quick minute to do a roll call, because we have Bleacher Creatures in the chat right now. So hey, Jonathan, you get the attendance award this week. Hey, Healing Men's Hearts, so great to see you for the first time. I need a little bell to shout out first time chat people. And so he's saying, what's a good name for the Bronx Squirrel? Personally, I'm calling him George. I'm calling him George Steinbrenner the Squirrel.
Fun.
Yes, it is.
Name.
Well, for me it is, because that is the ghost of George right there in that squirrel saying, get it together or you're out of here. I want nothing but your best this game. But I think we should have a contest. Remember, I mean, we've had owls, we've had cats, we've had all sorts of things showing up on the field. But this squirrel was not going. He was just lollygaggling all over the field, nibbling on the infield rocks, and Karen thinks, we might have found some sunflower seeds, and the outfield, and it was just, he was not scared at all. But then he started freaking out, and then I felt bad.
I think his name should be Nuts or Nutty, Professor Nutty, because to get on that field with that team and the amount of errors that they make, and they don't know where to throw the baseball, you have to be absolutely nutty to do it, because that is terrifying.
But listen, he's a Bronx Squirrel. Bronx Squirrels ride that L over our heads, and they jump on the tracks to see who left, a cheese doodle behind. He's right up there with Pizza Rat, that squirrel. So he's pretty tough. And all right, so let's see. Let me just go down. So Karen, Lori, great to see you as always. Shayna, little ray of sunshine. And we have also Egyptian magician Alakazam. Egyptian magician, where is the magic, my man? Come on. And let's see, Lou, good to see you. And I think, hey, Ivan Nenny. So let's see, he had something to say. I remember at this point, I don't want to see any of the position players next year besides Judge. You know what? I'm laughing because it's true. I think there's a few exceptions there, but I entirely get your point. And so.
Good morning to TC Steels, who I feel like I haven't seen in a long time, and I see him in the chat, so I just wanted to shout him out real quick.
Yeah. Oh, great. Okay. Gotta love the shout out. Oh, hey, TC Steels, we haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you. Fire everyone. So, and I think I saw Lori shout out.
Lori said even the Steinbrenners need to go.
And at some point I saw Lori say, sell. I don't know. She might have been referring to Boone or the team. Both would be true, but there's just so much. There's just too much. So let's just go on to our news and views, which is a more polite way of saying hot takes. And boy, I think we got some hot takes. So, why was not Volpe benched? Why are we sitting Why are we sitting our best? Why did Rice sit and Volpe play? I'm not talking positions and logistics here. But what does Volpe have over this club? I don't understand. Make it
So
make sense.
I can't make it make sense for you because
Ah,
Volpe is batting 169 in the month of August. Okay. Volpe is one for his last 28, I think. Yeah, one for his last 28 with 0 walks. So he's not even like able to see the ball well to get on base. Struck out 11 times in his last 28 at bats. Has 1 sack bunt. And do you know what that one hit for that 128 was? 1 for 28, not 128. It was a leadoff double versus Tampa in a game where the Yankees were up 12-2. So a game where it meant absolutely nothing. Where he was still the only player to not contribute with an RBI. So they've never used an option on him. I don't understand. He leads the AL in errors. He's second in all of MLB. He's batting 169 in August. Other teams would have sent him to the moon already. You have Caballero who can play shortstop. You can bring up Jorge Vivas. It's not like he can be any worse at this point than Volpe. But Volpe needs to be sent down. There is no reason. Okay, in 2023, when they gave him the full leash, whatever, the Yankees weren't playing for anything. Once Judge hit that wall in LA, the season was over. And everybody knew it. You had IKF playing right field and Billy McKinney and Willie Calhoun. There was nothing to play for at that point. But we're talking about the 2025 New York Yankees where you have Cody Bellinger, who has put up numbers this season. Trent Grisham has a career high numbers. Okay? Paul Goldschmidt has given you a good run. Ben Rice has been very, very good offensively. Aaron Judge, until he got hurt, was probably the best player in the league. There's no reason why Volpe has to be a part of this team. He's not contributing. And if anything, he's just hurting the New York Yankees. And you know what? Lori is spot on. The Yankees are never going to admit that they were wrong about Volpe because look at how many shortstops they passed up to keep Volpe and to bring him up to the majors and to push him and shove him down our throats. They were wrong. And at this point, I'm over it. Like, I'm done with the Volpe experience. Send him to AAA and figure it out.
and of course, Boone was asked about it. Did he think about giving Volpe a day off with the way he's been swinging the bat lately? And Boone said, "Nah, I didn't consider it today because we're facing a left-handed pitcher." So, look, I know it's a thing. I know it's a tried and true thing. This left-right thing and the strategy behind lefties facing righties and vice versa. But when you are in the dumps and you're desperate, then desperate times call for desperate measures. Why on earth? And this is really no shade on Goldie because Goldie has been golden to your point, Sierra.
Mm-hmm.
But when in the world would you imagine him leading off, especially at this moment in time? He really hasn't been his hottest at the plate of late. I didn't mean to rhyme, but I'm going to go with it and pretend that I did.
And
it was all because of that.
I don't understand it. So for a team that's very analytically driven, their analytics bite them in the ass. So I'm going to jump back to your question about Volpe versus lefties. You had 2 other players who could have played over Volpe who have better numbers against left-handed hitters who can play shortstop. You have Caballero, who's batting 241 versus lefties, and you have Ahmed Rosario, who I know everyone's not high on, but he has a 330 batting average versus lefties this season. 3 home runs versus lefties this season. And that's what you have him for. He's not an everyday guy. Plug him in where it makes sense. And yesterday it made sense. Garrett Crochet is one of the best pitchers in the league right now. Putting a struggling Anthony Volpe in the lineup would never make sense. I don't care if it's left, right, switch pitcher. That's not a thing, but whatever. I don't care what he is. Putting Volpe in the lineup doesn't make sense when you're facing one of the best pitchers in MLB who is in top 5 for strikeouts. What are you even thinking at that point when you have 2 other guys sitting on the bench who could have played? And then back to your other question, Listen, I was against Grisham being the leadoff hitter, but at this point, for consistency, just leave him as the leadoff hitter. I don't care about this left-right thing. I really don't. It doesn't make a difference. Grisham is having the best season of his career. Leave him where he's at.
Thank you. Absolutely. And look, I don't think right now we have the quintessential leadoff guy. So this game of chess that Boone loves so much is going to continue as much as we hate it, and I hate as much as I hate to say it, rightfully so at this point in time. Like it is throw spaghetti on the wall time, my friends. It's like let's just see if this will get us out of a bad thing for this series. But it just hasn't been the right kind of spaghetti. Maybe they need to switch to linguine or something. I don't know, but it's just maddening to me. And that roster construction, by the way, surely didn't work out. What was the score? 3,000-0 last night.
Might as well been
yesterday. So, all right. So Sierra, give me your news and views, and then I have a few other things to share.
Yeah, so I quickly wanted to touch on the bullpen budget. So listen, and I hate saying that today is a must-win game, but it is a must-win game. Okay, the Yankees have fallen from grace. They were climbing back up that ladder, but Boston came into town and just like punched them in the mouth and gave them a reality check. So it is a must-win game. Bullpen budget. Weaver, Duvall, De Los Santos have not played since Thursday. So those are the guys you will probably see today. Hopefully that makes a difference. Paul Blackburn, friggin' put him on a ship and send him somewhere. I don't know what that was yesterday. I don't even know why the Yankees signed him. Matt Blake can't fix everybody. I'm sorry. Everything does not need to be a project. It is okay to sign pitchers who are already good, right? Like, and that's one of the biggest issues is the Yankees continuously want to get projects for the bullpen and not fix it in the offseason or at the trade deadline or whenever. Like, I'm going to stop because I'm going to go on a rant if I do that. With that being said, so again, this is a must-win game, right? The Yankees, this series, have posted 4 runs, 5 errors. We have one more error than we do runs in this entire series. That is not okay. And I think today Rodon's on the mound, so I really, really hope that makes a difference for us.
And so Healing Men's Hearts is right there with you. He should have been released right after the game.
100%. I double-checked this morning to make sure like I didn't miss it. I checked Yankees PR, Chris Kirshner, Brian Hoke, everybody. Nothing. The guy is still on the roster.
You can't make it make sense because it never will. And this is, I guess you could say, well, the bullpen might as well have everybody's grandma in it at this point for everyone we're missing. But look, there's just no excuse. Those pinstripes, I'm glad you had your moment in time with them, but bye-bye, Blackburn.
I can't justify how they're playing. I can't justify Blackburn. I can't justify the errors and so I went to the Savannah Banana game last Saturday, right? I watched a guy make a backflip and still catch the ball. And you're telling me that the New York Yankees cannot throw it to the correct base. Like, what is that all about?
Maybe that's where they need to go. Maybe that's where maybe that's where almost the whole team needs to go.
I don't know. I think they would ruin the Bananas.
Yeah, they are too good for that. Lou's defending Blackburn. So there's your counterpoint. Left him out to dry. Well, that could be said, Lou, of literally everyone that got on the mound this series that tried to do anything right. That the offense, the bats just continue to not be alive. Remember the good old days when everyone was so threatened by those torpedo bats and how the Yankees are going to kill the major league, everyone they face? Yeah, another reminiscence that I'll just have to hang on to because they're just broken all over the place. Soon. I do. You mentioned that you checked all the usual suspects from the media. I also have been scrolling through Twitter, and at least the bright spot, and it's not even a bright spot, but the tweets have been on fire, everybody. For those of you that are, on Twitter and following the Yankees melodrama soap opera shit show that is this season, I got to call some tweets out right now. So here's one from my friend Jacob. He's a moderator for Yankees Empire community. Check that out and join it. What a great community to be a part of. The Yankees have lost every series they've played against an above 500 team since sweeping the Mariners from July 8th through July 10th. You have to go back to a sweep of the Royals from 5-10 to 6-12 for another series victory against a winning club. Unacceptable. Yeah, I mean, is there anything to say in response to that? It's just...
No, because they give you false hope when they go out and they take 2 out of 3 versus the Twins, who historically the New York Yankees dominate, and then sweep a struggling Cardinals team, and the Rays are very good at developing players, but they're not good at developing a winning team, right? So they give you false hope in that sense, and then they go and play Boston, and they can't do it. Or you look back to any time they've played the AL East this season outside of the Rays, and they cannot get it done. And look, I really have become super negative this season, and I don't like it. But I'm sick and tired of it's only August crowd. This game is meaningless crowd. The Yankees have a plus 1 million run deficit. Like, why does that matter if they are slowly free falling? Not even just out of the playoff run, like obviously they already free fell from first place in the AL East, but they're like free falling out of a wild card spot at this point. If they don't get it together, like I'm at the point where maybe they should miss the playoffs so that they do fire somebody. And I hate saying that because like we are a winning organization. And I also want to say, like, the people who are okay with the Yankees just being a winning organization and not making a playoff push, that's not okay either. Yes, I don't want them to be the White Sox or the Orioles or the Pirates who don't win, and it's just constantly, like, every season super negative. But I also don't like what they're doing right now. I don't want to just make the wild card and then lose in the first round. Like, what the hell's the point of that? Yes, winning a World Series is super hard, but this just feels like, what are they even playing for at this point? It's like, if you and I care more than they do, what is the point?
Right. That 100%. And Lori said just about the same earlier on, probably too far up for me to find it. And Karen, you're spot on. Cashman will still blame the fans. And yet, those fans keep filling those seats, everybody. So Cashman could say anything he wants to say about us because nothing's hitting them in the pockets. So, and that's right. That's exactly my point. Hal only cares about the money, and we're still giving it to him, flying those dollars out to them quicker than a squirrel can run around a stadium. All right, so here's another one that I had to pull, and this is from George Falkowski. So also on X, not only so, but this goes back. I should have put this up when I was on my mini rant about defensive IQ. Not only did you guys, if you watched, did you remember this yesterday? Not only did Anthony Volpe compound things with the bad throw, where was Jazz? I'll tell you where he wasn't, near second base. What's going on here with the failed pickoff throw? The Yankees are in free fall, and we're going to be treated to the same parade of verbal hoo-ha in the postgame. Unbelievable.
At this point, it almost feels like their egos are getting in the way of helping them improve, right? Like they come out and they say, oh, we have to play better, blah blah blah, but they're not doing anything to show the improvement. They're not working for it. Like I don't know. It's just frustrating.
It is totally frustrating. Hey, G Miller, good to see you. Thanks for the compliment. I don't know. I don't know, but thank you for that. And we do try to mix it up and come back so that you remember us. And don't worry, G Miller. I have a feeling we're going to be getting mad many more times before we sign off. Um, so yeah, and you're right, Karen. Boone had the nerve to call it a headsy play. Um, there's just so much that is so laughable about this team. We're a laughing stock. That's what we are at this point. Is a laughing stock, and
Yep.
how sad.
Nobody's afraid of the New York Yankees in 2025.
Not
Wait,
a damn one. But those seats are full. And so and Karen, I know you said up above that the stadium's been quiet. I can't find it now because the tweets are the chat's hot and rolling. But the stadium was mostly quiet, but those boos for Volpe were the only thing
there
that broke the silence. They're
there was
getting
a
louder.
there was an extremely loud, and this really disappointed me because how could you let this happen in your own home? There was an extremely loud "Let's Go Red Sox" chant yesterday, and the Yankee fans didn't even try to counter it. Didn't even try. And so I live in Chicago. Everybody knows this. Whenever I go to the Chicago Yankees games, there's everybody. That's when that stadium gets filled, right? There's always a huge "Let's Go Yankees" chant. And I've always wondered, how do White Sox fans feel? Because that's got to be embarrassing.
Yeah.
I felt it yesterday. I wasn't even at Yankee Stadium, but hearing the "Let's Go Red Sox" chant at Yankee Stadium, that's embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. Take back your home. Play some good baseball. Act like you care.
And by the way, spoiler alert, we're playing the White Sox next week at the end of next week into next weekend in their house. So let's listen for how much "Let's Go Yankees" we hear when they're in Chicago next weekend.
Oh, you'll hear it. I get so frustrated.
We'll hear it?
Yeah, I get so frustrated because I go to a lot of White Sox games because it's super cheap. They're so bad. You can get tickets for $5. Nothing, right? Nobody goes to those games. As soon as the Yankees come to town, and it pisses me off every season because the price goes up, it's packed. Sellout crowds, wall to wall.
Wow.
I saw a lady last season who brought in a bag of Aaron Judge bobbleheads. And I'm thinking to myself, what is she doing with these bobbleheads? Does she think Judge is going to sign all 27 of those? What is happening right now? But I will be there Saturday. My seats are right above the Yankee bullpen, literally directly above them in the middle. So maybe I can whisper some sweet nothings to the New York Yankees bullpen to get, help them out.
Oh, yeah.
Get them to play well.
Do it. Throw things at them. Get their attention. But don't get ejected. We need.
Harky scares me. I'm not trying to. That's a big guy.
And so, it is a laughable and probably in my 3,000 years as a Yankee fan, the most horrible time to be a Yankee fan. And I have lived through the 70s and 80s and early 90s of the Yankees. So this is just, and even going further back than that, knowing Yankees history, this is really the bottom. And I guess they try to tell us that once you hit rock bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. But you know what? What?
Is it not with this team?
I was going to say they'll find a way to prove that wrong. And so my final tweet, and this is really the chef's kiss of tweets, tells you everything that we've been saying here. The chat has been saying in the chat, not just today, but every week. On September 29th. That's what they're waiting for. That's when Boone's saying it's all in front of us. That's what they mean. So I got to shout out Hard Stuck Depression on X. Find this guy and follow him if you are on X. He deserves to follow. My favorite, I don't know if it's big enough for you to see, but Volpe with the pacifier. At first, I thought he was like drinking a pina colada or something until I saw. Uh, maybe it was just me. That maybe I just needed to laugh so desperately that I really laughed
Maybe
out loud by
The
myself.
Yankees made you need a pina colada, and that's what it was. That's what
That's
you thought you
exactly
had.
right. And in an IV bag at this point.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So and some new people have joined the chat. Oh, look, your relative is here.
That's my husband. You can just put that down because
Oh,
nobody cares about
nice to meet you, Matt. Nice to meet you. Um, and so we have Victor Valente here. Good to see you. I think you're a first timer. Hope to see you back. And we have others that have joined. If I'm missing you, I'm trying to scroll real fast. Felix Nunez, thanks for being here today. So, oh, this is a toughie, but we're gonna do it because we have a routine. Who's hot? Who's not? Who's bleh? Not even meh. Who's bleh? All right. Who's your hottie?
Oh God, this was hard. All right, so I'm grasping at straws here, but I went with Jose Caballero. We don't see him enough, but since becoming a Yankee, he's slashing 320, 433, 600 with a 1.033 OPS. Not only that, and listen, most of this goes credit to the Tampa Bay Rays, but he's leading the league with 40 stolen bases. So just let him run wild. Like,
Yeah.
play him over Volpe, play him over McMahon, let him run wild. I don't care at this point. His very first, introduction to us, he was horrible. He was a villain, right? He contributed to that loss in Miami, which is a house of horrors. But I'm gonna let that go because since then he's been very productive for the Yankees. And and I've said this previously, but Will Warren was talking about him in an interview, and he said that Caballero is like a little pest. So like he bothers pitchers, and that's what we need. We need to switch it up and let the guy run free. I don't even care at this point.
I remember hating him during the Marlins series right before we got him. Now, of course, I love him, but of course, I hated him because I'm like, who is this menace? Like, get him on the bench, please. He's ruining the game. So yeah, I'm with you on the Caballero train. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I went. Listen, did Stan have a bad game yesterday? Outside of the home run, sure, but Stan has been so freaking hot lately that you still have to give him credit. His just switching his mentality this season, knowing that he's not going to be an everyday player, I think has helped him tremendously. So in the past, when he would have his set days off, he would shut down because it's your day off. Now he knows he can come off the bench at any time for pinch hitting or whatever. He's got to be ready to go, and you can see the difference. Historically, Stanton was horrible pinch hitting. This season has made an impact for the New York Yankees. So again, anyone who says that there's no spot for Stanton in this team, God bless your soul, because you don't know what you're talking about. Lastly, I have Schlittler because he pitched a perfect game into the 6th inning. Now, if you looked at the box score that day, you wouldn't know that because it kind of unraveled after that, but he into the 6th inning, had a perfect game going. If his name started with a D, he probably would have continued it because only guys with the first letter D complete perfect games for the New York Yankees, whether they're good people or not. So, but either way, I love watching him pitch. He doesn't get rattled, and I think that is something you cannot teach. It's taken Carlos Rodon a very long time to settle in as a New York Yankee and not get rattled. Cam Schlittler, right out the gate, has been like that.
Absolutely.
And I just love that.
I'm mad that I forgot. I didn't even think of him. That's how much what happened after him has clogged my brain cells. And let's remember that he is a rookie. We just got him up here. And and he is showing up and showing out and really, if I had to choose at this moment, Warren versus Schlittler, and I won't have to choose because we have 3 pitchers in our rotation at this point, but kidding. I am known for the exaggeration. Yeah, I would choose Schlittler because for a young kid, he is present, he is measured, nothing I'm sure it's eating him inside, but he keeps his cool and his composure and doesn't lose his command and location. He is just wow. If there's one good thing I could say about the Yankee organization is getting him. That's really all I could think of at this moment. And you'd have to wait a while for me to come up with another. So before I talk about my hottie, Christopher Cancel's here. Hey, Christopher has a question for us. I'm hearing rumors about you Yankee fans wanting Posada to be manager, but didn't he say he wanted to focus and spend more time with his family?
I have seen Yankee fans online talk about Posada. I'm not in that camp. I don't want Posada. I don't want Jeter. I don't want anybody from that 09 World Series team as a manager, because when the New York Yankees analytical department runs their management, it's going to ruin how we view them. And I don't want that to happen. Like, that's not fair to them. And it would just like, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of it.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. Jeter, we don't have to worry about. Jeter doesn't even want to be in the same state as the Yankees. I don't know if he'll visit New York ever again. So expect him on the Jumbotron for every old timers game forever. He is so disengaged and has disavowed anything but verbally. The closest he came was on ESPN that night. He's just done and has been done with the Yankees. And that, ladies and gentlemen, should tell us all we need to know about why this organization is trash. If you have a first ballot, unanimous vote, Hall of Famer who doesn't want to be aligned with your organization anymore, that should be all you need to know. That should be the alarm clock for Hal and Brian and the board. And who's on that board, I don't know, but they clearly have no power or say. This is just even he is gone from us. So
not to mention, you have Jeter and A-Rod agreeing on ESPN Live.
I think they went out for drinks after that
about how poorly this team is being ran. Like, that just was not on my bingo card in 2025. Listen, I think as long as Cashman is with the New York Yankees, Jeter will just keep his distance just because of the way he treated him.
I agree. And John the Beagle Dad, I love Willie Randolph. There's no doubt about it. I don't know that. I don't. First of all, I like Christopher's question because it brings to mind the fact that they're not thinking about anyone, because Boone is in their pocket and they like him there. Boone likes being in there. It's warm and cozy, and he gets to say all the shit he wants to say, and thinks it's going to stick to the ground with somebody that they take it as fact. So they have a perfect codependent relationship that's not going to be broken anytime soon, Christopher. I wish that your question had an answer that was realistic, but just not at this time.
I have a nomination for the manager.
Go for it.
The Squirrel. Put the freaking Squirrel in the manager spot.
Yes.
You can't do any worse than what they're doing right now.
Nutsy the Squirrel. Nutsy the Squirrel for manager. Look, like I said earlier, he said something to Fried that sealed the fate for Fried looking finally like a 1.99 ERA pitcher again. But yeah, I'm just that desperate. I would not say no. I would not say no to Nutsy. So who is my hot? I do have to shout out Belly and Rosario, because I think I use Belly every week, but that's not being lazy. That's just being factual. Belly is the clutchiest of clutch for us. Tried and true, consistent, both sides of his game. And so Belly will be hot probably forever at this point. And I have to give it to Rosario in a small sample size of going 2 for 3 yesterday, especially given the slaughterhouse that was the game. So it's a lukewarm hot, but when you're digging the bottom of the barrel, that's what you get. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing. I'm keeping my eye on Rosario. I think he could be really good for us. So, and yeah, Christopher, you are absolutely right. Made no sense, and we went through this at the top of the show. Made no sense that he sat yesterday, and of course ended up pitch hitting for Goldie. So, who's your not, Sierra?
Who
Who's not
isn't
a
my
hottie? Who's not a hottie?
who isn't a not at this point? I'm just kidding. So the bullpen. And I'll give them a little bit of grace because the bullpen management has been atrocious all season, but it doesn't matter. They're professional baseball players and they have just consistently let us down. Specifically, I'm sorry, Paul Blackburn, his Yankee debut was atrocious. 7 earned runs off of 8 hits, 2 walks. Okay. But we can move on from that because there's what he probably won't be here much longer. Volpe, Anthony Volpe is the biggest knot in Major League Baseball, not even for the Yankees. He is the worst hitter in Major League Baseball to date. Again, I'll reiterate what I said about 20 minutes ago. He is 1 for his last 28, and that 1 hit was when the Yankees were winning 12-2, so it meant absolutely nothing. He hasn't even got a walk. He's been struck out 11 times. And less, again, 17 errors. I don't care what you do at this point, but his ass needs to be on the bench. And I'm not talking for 1 game. He needs to sit. He needs to ride the bench. He needs to understand that he's not playing good right now. And then earn his spot back. You have 2 other people who can play shortstop right now. Figure it out.
And Lou's saying, just get him off the damn team. I'd like it now, but at this point, off season's around the corner, right in front of us. Remember, so. Yeah, he just needs to get off this team. He's not yankified, as Donald would say. So I had the same, Sierra. We're aligned with the not. And I'm also gonna just say that let's speak about the fact that Jazz is really creeping up on Volpe's record of 17 errors.
Yeah.
Jazz has checked out. I don't know if I don't know what's going on in that head, but it's definitely not anything intelligent. Wandering off base, being where he's not supposed to be, and stepping in on a play that he doesn't belong in. Lukewarm at the plate, not even lukewarm. Not, I had to choose between Matt and who's not, but he's a naughty because he is just not coming through anywhere the way we used to. So I don't know if he spent too much time at the Little League World Series, which is a glow on him because he really does so well with the kids, but do really play nicely with the grown-ups, Jazz, please.
I have mixed opinions on Jazz because he's so frustrating to me. He has a 2020 season. He has 22 home runs and 22 stolen bases. That's not an easy thing to do, but his defense has just been so bad. And to your point, he's creeping up. He has 14 errors. So that's it. I don't even know what to say because when Jazz is on, he's on. But when he is off, he is just it's like a toxic relationship where when things are good, they're so good. But when things are bad, they're really bad. That's exactly what it is for Jazz.
and Karen had the Donald Yankified laughing last night because if you've seen the movie Major League, and if you haven't, what are you even doing? He really is like Willie Mae Hayes from Major League. Might as well call him Jazz Mays Hayes. And that's what Karen started to call him. Makes me laugh every time. Colder than a day-old dumpling. I felt that in the feels, Lori. Very descriptive and accurate. I'm going to add Wells. We talked about it earlier. We don't need to relive the trauma again. But Wells, come on, man. I know you got a hit or two, even a home run this series, if I'm remembering correctly. It all felt like a dream. If it happened. So
his 1 home run every 3 weeks does nothing for me. And exactly. You know what? I'm
Exactly.
so sick of the home run or bust with this team. Put the ball in play. Execute a hit and run. Like you can't live or die by the home run. I'm sorry. You've already proven that if you don't hit home runs, you can't win. So figure something else out because I can't do it anymore.
Right. And there's plenty of very successful clutch Yankees that were not long ball guys. Brett Gardner comes to mind. I'll bring up his name anytime I can because he got a bad ending that he didn't deserve from this team. So Christopher Cancel has a comment there for you, Sierra.
Maybe he wasn't meant to be a second baseman. Why not put him at center field or third base? So I know in Miami he played a little bit of center field, but his natural position is second base. He did fine for the Yankees at third base. However, it almost caused an injury because he wasn't prepared to play third base long term. Also, the Yankees publicly came out and said that they wanted Glaber to walk, and that's why they brought in Jazz to play second base. So at this point, Jazz is playing second, whether he's doing bad or not, because they are never going to admit that they were wrong.
Absolutely. And I'm down on Jazz at the moment, but I still have faith in him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's fixable. There are some guys, and we've named them so much that their ears are on fire just in the show alone, that may not be fixable. But Jazz is going to come around, and I'm not beautifying myself by saying that. I really feel like the numbers show it. The hard work ethic show it. The desire to be a Yankee shows it. He's clearly fit for this, organization and the pressure of being a Yankee. In fact, I think he relishes it. He's going to figure it out. He's going to get it sorted out in time to make any impact. No, and that's unfortunate. But I'm sticking with the Jazz man, even though no one asked for my opinion. Just saying. All right. So the meh, the blah, the vomit. Go ahead, Sierra.
I don't even remember who I said.
Ben Rice.
Oh, Ben. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Ben Rice. So Ben Rice, like offensively, has been very consistent. And Thursday, when he made an error, but he had a home run, he had a triple, so he made up for it. It's not like Volpe where he's just bad all around. My issue with Ben Rice at this moment is that defensively, it's been subpar both behind the plate and at first base. So I want Ben Rice on this team in the future. And I don't know what the Yankees' plans are, but if they plan to play him at first base moving forward, they really need to get him into some winter ball or something because he has to work at it. I would rather see him behind the plate than Austin Wells, but yes. Even then, like
me behind the plate than Austin Wells.
Go ahead. But even then, like Wells, Rice isn't doing amazing back there. So I don't know what the deal is, but again, offensively, Rice has showed up this season, and I don't want to lose that. So the Yankees need to figure out their plan for Rice for next season.
And while we're sitting here, I'm changing. I'm realizing that I missed something in our hot takes, so I'm going to use it here for meh. Judge needs a lot more time than anyone's talking about. It's just you're not seeing it at the plate for him, and it's the only part of him we get to see right now. He's still not even throwing to bases yet. He's at 150 miles per hour throwing, apparently, but you have to believe Boone to believe that. I just feel that he needs more time, and we should be benching him. He's the one also that just needs some off days. And then, I don't know. It's on you, Boone, to figure out the lefty righty thing. But I just feel like he needs more time, and even coming back to be the DH was too soon.
I struggle with the whole Aaron Judge situation in general because you and I have talked about it. You cannot trust the Yankees medical staff. But I think where I'm struggling even more is that this situation has showed an even bigger disconnect within the clubhouse because Boone came out and said, oh, we don't think Judge will play right field again this season. Basically said he's not throwing like he normally does, blah, blah, blah. And then Judge came out, and Judge doesn't speak out, so this threw me off. Judge came out and said, well, I don't know why he said that. He hasn't seen me throw in 2 weeks. And then Boone's response was, well, maybe I overstated things. You have lost control of your clubhouse. And I think that's a bigger issue. But that's where I'm struggling with this situation. The other part that I'm struggling with is we just got Stanton back. Stanton has been super hot for the Yankees. Putting him in right field, he's doing fine, but he now needs longer to recover after he's played right field for multiple days in a row, and that then in turn hurts the New York Yankees. So it's a really crappy situation all around.
Yeah.
I don't know if we will ever know the full extent of Judge's injury. He's still hitting 326, over the season. But you have obviously we've seen a decline in his offense recently.
Right. And let's look ahead for a minute. We have him for a long time to come, and he is now gathering up quite the history of injuries. And so it makes me a little bit worried for the future, because think of all the fighting we've had to do about Stanton, Sierra, right? And Judge is very quietly earning those medals that you don't want to earn, and this season is a little bit more concerning to me than Toegate was, even, because his arm is everything. So
I think my concern is that they're going to come out in the offseason and be like, well, he actually needs to have surgery. Because you look back at Ohtani. He DH'd the remainder of that season that he got injured and had surgery in the offseason. That is my concern. And if that happens, this fan base is going to lose their minds.
Absolutely. And you can't like dismiss what you just said, Sierra, because they do that all the time. And that could have been the plan all along. So I would not faint if that happens to be the news over the off season. Lou's managing here. So he's saying, Lou, on paper, I don't hate it. But I wouldn't want to sit Judge, consistently. I'm saying sporadically, because he needs to still be getting his reps. But
you don't even need to put Rosario in right field. Like, listen, I might get some hate for this, but you still have Dominguez, Belly, and Grisham. Put Belly in left, put Dominguez in right. Right field's easier to play in Yankee Stadium. Put Belly in left field. That gives your best defensive alignment, in my opinion. And Grisham in center. Let Stanton DH. Like,
yep. I mean, but you know why it won't happen? Because it makes sense. It makes some modicum of sense, and the front office doesn't know from that. And Lou, I'm not so sure that's going to be for certain.
I don't. As much as I want to see it, I don't see it happening, because I could see the Yankees bringing Ascara back up when the roster expands, because then that opens up Rice to play first base more, and then you still have your backup catcher. But I don't know. I would love to see Jones. He's lighting the world on fire right now. And my biggest concern about that whole scenario is you look back to last season where he was striking out 11 times. He's lighting the world on fire. We didn't trade him. We haven't brought him up. What are the Yankees doing with him? Either he's a part of the future or he's not, but you got to make that decision now.
That's right. And like I said in prior shows, they better not Peraza him. He doesn't deserve that. So make the decision. Break up with him or marry him, period.
Well, not only that, if you don't believe in Dominguez at this point, move on and bring Jones up. Like,
right.
To me, it feels like they don't believe in Dominguez. And it's been obvious from the beginning of the season, and I might catch some flack for that, but I don't freaking care. The way that they've managed Dominguez from day one of this season to now, it doesn't feel like they think he's a part of this future anymore, which is really sad, because we've been hearing about this kid since he was 16 years old.
That's right.
You figure it out, front office.
Absolutely. And he's so excited to be where he is. And we've talked about that before too. Just cheering everybody on, and he's as much a fan in the dugout when the other guys are up at the plate than any one of us. So let's not ruin that enthusiasm and that love for the game. So Dominguez is another one. Figure it out with him. Pay him a little bit of attention. We know you have your problem children, and he's not the most problematic, but and he's not even a problem, but he still needs development. And so, I just hope they do right by him. So, oh boy, listen, Sierra, I'm usually the one throwing out the controversy, but let's talk about Hero of the Week. Okay. You go first, Sierra.
Listen, shout out to the biggest Yankee villain of all time, the guy who has completely cursed the closing position, Aroldis Chapman, because you're telling me that this guy, he's always been dominant through his career, but the Yankees just have bad memories of him, and it ended poorly with him because the last time we saw him, he went MIA because he got a tattoo or whatever and just didn't show up to practice when we were about to go into the playoffs and whatever. He has a 1.08 ERA this season, guys. Like, that's insane. He shut the Yankees down 2 games in a row. Yeah. Boston has an absolute Yankee killer. And he may not be our hero of the week, but he's definitely their hero of the week, along with, a couple other guys in their lineup. But I just wanted to point that out, that, again, he's getting his revenge on his old team.
Absolutely. And those of you that don't remember, Pepperidge Farm does. He was crap towards the end of his time with us. And Lord knows he was with us long enough that we can't blame the market for it and the pressure of being a Yankee. But to Sierra's point of everything she just said, look what happened. So okay, not so hero of the week. We'll like ignore the Yankees for Sierra's bit. I don't want to see it ever again, though. I don't need.
I literally couldn't come up with one because
I know.
the last 3 games have been so bad. Like, even the guys who have played well the last 3 games, they don't deserve a hero spot.
I'm not sitting here blaming or shaming. I get it. This is and for me, it's same. So oopsie. So Max Fried, because he was literally the only Yankee who showed up that showed the Red Sox that he means business. He owned the Red Sox for the 6 innings he got in before it was all taken away from him. So he's my hero. Christopher Council's giving Rice.
Rice, baby.
Oh, and Victor Valenti saying that we're forgetting that Volpe was branded the next second baseman, not shortstop. I don't remember that, actually. I'm being honest. All right.
I don't think he can play second base at this point anyway. I don't think it matters where you put Volpe on the field. The guy can't hit a Major League Baseball pitch. The guy can't hit pitching at the Major League level right now, so it doesn't matter where you put him.
Yeah.
You could freaking throw him in DH and he still wouldn't be able to do anything.
Really, we're just so low on Volpe. But if everyone is,
if only we played Kansas City every day, then Volpe would be able to figure it out.
And I'm not even trusting that were we to go back to Kansas City that it would happen again. I think maybe that was an aberration and we just won't ever see it. So, all right, so let's go to the injury report for this week. So, I caught that interview with Meredith and Fernando Cruz yesterday. He's feeling strong. He's looking strong, and he's saying he's ready. He's just basically put me in coach at this point in time. So he could be activated either today or Monday. He had, I think, another outing last night to just do one last run of things down in Scranton. So, you know what? I've been missing Fernando Cruz. I've been on the Fernando Cruz train since the beginning. And I think that we haven't gotten to see the best of him and the most out of him yet. So I'm really looking forward to that. Loizaga, listen. Let's just get Loizaga to Cancun now. He could set up camp for the other guys in the postseason because now, in addition to everything, he decided he wants to be just like Aaron Judge. So now he has a right flexor strain as of last week. So he's seeing Dr. Meister, the dreaded Dr. Meister, Tuesday. Remember Austin Slater? We've barely met him. So he has a left hamstring injury, and he's just now starting some field drills. So I don't know. They're anticipating September, but that means we might see him once before we go into the hot stove season.
That
So
is, it is such a Yankee thing for both Slater and Rosario to get here and then get injured. Like, come on. How much more of a Yankee can you be at that point?
right. We got Yarbrough. Good thing about him is he also is soon to be activated. Another one like Cruz, one more outing in Scranton, and he could be activated. So, man, I want Yarbrough back so bad. We really need him. And Brent Hedrick with his little bruise on his left arm. So the little boo boo, the X-rays and the CT scan came back fine, but he's still not feeling quite right. So what does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? What does that mean? Probably won't see him.
You had poor Mark Leiter Jr. out here pitching on a broken leg.
I know.
And, I just want to mention real quick before we go off air, Mark Leiter Jr. has looked great lately. So that broken leg clearly was an issue. Shout out to Leiter.
That's true. And I'm never on the Leiter train, but if this is my opportunity, I'll hop on. Hey, good to see you, ESB New York Yankees. Yep. And so I don't think we have much to talk about with the prospects. Whoopsie. I went right to the end of the show.
Bye.
No, don't hang up. Don't hang up. No, you say goodbye first. No, you say goodbye first. We're not done. We're almost there. So tonight, I mean, what a series to be the Sunday night baseball game of the week on ESPN. They just better. Please. We have Rodon, and he's going up against May, and the numbers look good, but numbers schmumbers. You never know what you're going to get. But I just hope let's avoid the broom. Let's just take one and be the last memory. Have that short-term memory of, okay, they won. The Yankees won. They won the series, and fool our minds into that a little bit. Then we got the Nationals. I really don't have any intel on the Nationals to share. But they're in the Bronx with us for the next 3, and then we're off to Chicago for some deep dish pizza and the White Sox. So Sierra, do you have any last thoughts you want to share before we go?
Not to be a negative Nelly or anything, but the Yankees don't play good baseball on Sunday Night Baseball when it's broadcasted on ESPN. I don't know why, but they just don't. So I'm a little nervous that they might get swept today. With that being said, listen, if they lose today, they need to take the series against Washington and Chicago. You have to beat these bad teams if you can't beat the good ones. I will be at the game Saturday versus the White Sox, so pray for my sanity. Pray that I don't get thrown out for yelling at Aaron Boone or something because, yeah. And hopefully Stanton hits a home run because that'll at least make my day.
And you also want to make sure that you win and not your husband, I'm sure. So bring that luck, yell down to the bullpen, Sierra, do everything you have to do out there. And so, listen, everybody in the chat, where would we be without you? We would be laughing less. We would definitely miss your comments. You're on fire every week. Thank you so much. And for those of you listening after, thank you. We love what we're doing every week with you and for you. So there's all our usuals on how to find us. You know, the Yankees Pinstripe Chronicles, guys, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. live. And as always, you have a reserved seat with Sierra and me right here on the upper deck, whether you want to be there or not. So say it with feeling, everybody. Go Yankees. See you next time.